I remember in my 20s and when I was a teenager, people talking about getting depressed. And it sounded like, well, the way they would communicate it was that it was a horrible thing. And I just didn't understand. I'd never really had depression. I'd never really experienced anything like that. I was very anxious. I had all that, but I'd never had what I now understand it to be. And people would talk about it, and I'd just think, oh, just cheer up. Just, why can't you just do stuff? Because that was always my answer, just doing things. But then I got older, and I remember specifically the first time that this ever happened to me when I was in my 30s, early 30s, I think, maybe mid 30s. I ate something, I think it was an avocado or something, and then I just had this incredible brain fog that I'd never had before. And it lasted, I think, 2 days. And it was this fog that just came over everything. You could feel that my brain was being squeezed by this intense pressure and this fogginess, this kind of smoke screen that I couldn't see past. With it came this sense of that I couldn't connect with anything other than this feeling of complete hopelessness, that nothing outside of this sense existed, that anything that ever that could happen or anything that people could say or do was irrelevant, that I just couldn't see past it. And then I realized, oh, that's what they're talking about, because the thing with it is that it just makes everything so empty and pointless and painful. And you can't see, there's no way around it. There's no way outside of it. There's no way to escape it quickly anyway. And because of that, it's very dangerous. Because of that, you lose the will to live. You can see that there is no point to existence if you're unable to see past this darkness. Because it doesn't matter what other people do or say. People can say things like, I care about you, or I'll be there for you, or is there anything you need, or just, all that sort of stuff. And it's just empty nothingness. Being with people only makes it worse. Being alone only makes it worse. Everything just makes everything worse. And it's very dangerous because you become very close to just ending it all. Many times when I've had this since, it just becomes kind of an obsession, which is, man, like, what is the point of living when you feel like this? But I wanted to make this video to reach out to people who do experience it, and to try to describe it in my terms, and to explain what I believe to be going on with this experience. Because it's possible that you can be depressed because something happened, someone died, or you lost something or someone, or, a certain crisis of some kind. And there can be a reason for it, and I believe that becomes a very emotional reason, being that there is some grief or shame or guilt or something that you need to process and the body's telling you to do it. But there is this other type that I just described, and I believe that it is inflammation of the brain. It is how the brain experiences inflammation of or issues in the gut and the body, and it causes sort of the side effect of your brain becoming inflamed, and then you get that experience. Because whenever I do anything that screws with my microbiome, or eat anything outside of the foods that are okay for me to eat, I get this experience. And it started to get a lot worse. Now if I take probiotics, or if I eat certain things like grains and stuff, it's about 5-6 days that I have this depression. The worst I ever had it was when I was taking a lot of antibiotics and drugs and painkillers and all this stuff to do with some pain that I had with the tooth-related thing I made another video about. And then when I stopped doing all of that, I just had this incredible, very scary depression where everything just was gone and replaced with that sense of meaninglessness. But what I've found is that it is consistent. There is some consistency there where if I do things that aren't good for me or that my body doesn't like, I get this experience. And if I avoid these things, this experience doesn't come. So it's going to be different for everyone. It's because the way our bodies are, more or less capable or damaged or whatever, things affect us differently. So it takes a lot of experimentation. But what things that didn't work for me was antidepressants. I mean, if you want to try them, it's fine. But there are studies out there that show that affecting serotonin doesn't fix this. And it's such a simplistic idea that they discovered that serotonin makes you feel good, so let's try to create an experience of more of it in the brain. As if things are that simple, But some people say it helps them, it numbs them a bit. Whenever I've tried them, the side effects have been so horrible that I just, it's just not worth it. I nearly prefer the depression sometimes over the side effects of these things. But I've never had them work to any great extent. When I was younger, I had quite a long stint on them, and I don't remember any significant difference. Just side effects and much to the same as supplements, including probiotics. I think because of histamine intolerance that I have, people say that a lot of the time we can be very sensitive to probiotics. Some of the most severe depression I've ever had is from taking probiotics, and it lasts for ages. So I have to avoid them. But I've never had them help me in any way, these things. Most supplements, if they do have an effect, it's for 1 or 2 days, and then the body just rebalances itself. It's exactly like a drug, where the body's always seeking balance. The only thing that is outside of that is salts. So if you've got sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, the electrolytes, the main ones, I find that magnesium can help. So it's the one thing that I found can help is hydrating adequately with salts, including magnesium. And it does seem to reduce the symptoms if I have it, and it assists me in avoiding it. I think most people are deficient to some degree in magnesium. But the thing with it is if you do too much, the body again then has a rebound effect where you'll notice if you take too much the next day you'll get more cramps, and you'll just feel low magnesium. So the body has like a rebound effect if you overload yourself with these things. So what does work? If you're going through the experience of depression, the main thing that works is fasting. If you fast, or if you exercise, or if you get yourself into ketosis, one of those things, for me it seems to be the quickest way out of the problem. To avoid the problem, you've got to get the basics right. So ultimately the most important part of the basics is your diet. So I believe most days I'll eat in a 6-18 window, so a 6-hour eating window. From 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll eat all my food. Most of my food is meat and fat, and maybe a handful of berries. If I want to get into ketosis, I just eliminate the berries, and then I'm in ketosis. Try this, minimal inflammation, get rid of the vegetables, get rid of the grains, the nuts, the seeds, all that stuff. They contain loads of oxalates, carcinogens, stuff we're not supposed to consume, and eat largely a meat and fruit diet. Keep the fruit to a minimum. Excess carbohydrates in our diet, humans don't really handle it very well in general, excess carbohydrates can cause depression. So if you're doing the meat and fruit and you're still getting it, keep cutting the carbs. You may have to go to zero until you see improvement. A lot of people who go zero carb say that they never get depressed again. Their anxiety goes away as well. And if you eat in that window, so from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., you will have much better sleep. And sleep is the next key to it. Regardless if you might have all these histamine issues or whatever issues are going on, if you keep your food well away from your sleep, which is that for me works well, take some magnesium or whatever you want to do. Make sure you've got salts before you go to sleep. Make sure you've hydrated during the day but not drunk any water for the last, after 5 p.m. or something, as long as you're sufficiently hydrated. And you'll have an excellent sleep. This makes a big difference as well. And then just the other basics. Go to the beach, swim in the water, get salt all over you, get a bunch of sun on your skin. Like I said, exercise, stretching, meditating, exploring your emotions, trying to feel the shame and the guilt and the grief that's underneath all this anger. Having purpose, being with people that make you feel peaceful. These are very basic things. But for me, the most essential is this diet and sleep thing. Diet, hydration, sleep, salt, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. It will make a big difference, and it will avoid you even getting the experience of depression. But if you do have it and you have it right now, fast, exercise, ketosis. For me, that's the quickest way. Stop taking whatever you're taking that caused you to get into depression. There's something there. Get rid of the caffeine. Caffeine's designed by plants to kill little insects, and it's killing humans too. We just much slower. So get rid of it. Get rid of the caffeine. Get rid of all the pills, all the supplements, and fast. Take some magnesium, some potassium, some sodium. Keep water fasting. Break your fast with fatty meat. Get in ketosis. Exercise. Go for a run. Go to the gym. These types of things will help clear up the depression quicker, I find. So I hope that helps you guys. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Cheers.